For generations, the US-Canada border has stood as a powerful symbol of friendship and trust between two nations. It's more than just a line on a map, it's a testament to decades of cooperation, shared values, and mutual respect. This border has been the gateway to the world's most peaceful and prosperous trading relationship, fueling growth and opportunity on both sides. Every day, millions of people, goods, and ideas have crossed freely, weaving the two economies together in ways that touch nearly every aspect of daily life, from the food on our tables to the cars we drive. But today, October 8, 2025, that partnership is under siege. A brutal trade war has fractured what once seemed unbreakable. What began as a political disagreement has spiraled out of control, exploding into a full-blown economic conflict. Billions in tariffs now fly back and forth, disrupting industries and livelihoods. The fallout is painfully real. Factory workers face layoffs, assembly lines grind to a halt, and small businesses teeter on the edge of collapse. Families across both countries are hit hard, watching prices soar on everyday essentials, and feeling the squeeze at the checkout counter. The world's longest undefended border has become an economic front line. Shockwaves ripple through auto plants, lumber mills, and entire communities that once thrived on cross-border trade. Even grocery aisles on both sides are affected, as supply chains falter and uncertainty grows. Canadians feel deeply betrayed, with Prime Minister Mark Carney voicing the nation's shock and disappointment at America's sudden actions. Protests erupt, and the political climate grows tense. Decades of trust have eroded in just a few months, replaced by suspicion, anger, and a fierce determination to fight back for national interests. As both nations brace for what's next, the world watches anxiously, wondering if this fractured friendship can ever be repaired, or if a new era of rivalry has just begun. At the heart of this conflict is the tariff, a tax on imported goods. Before the trade war, Canadian steel entered the US tax-free. Now, a 25% tariff makes it far more expensive. The idea make foreign goods pricier to protect American jobs and industries. President Trump, claiming the US was exploited in trade deals, used tariffs as his main weapon after the USMCA expired in February 2025. He slapped sweeping 25% tariffs on Canadian steel, aluminum, and autos, Canada's economic backbone. The move sent shockwaves through the tightly linked North American auto industry, disrupting supply chains and raising costs. For Trump, tariffs are both a negotiating tactic and a declaration of economic sovereignty. The message, the old rules, are gone, and the US will disrupt trade to get a better deal. Canada now faced a direct economic assault from its closest ally, and had to respond. As the crisis deepened, uncertainty gripped the nation. Canadians watched anxiously as the economic standoff with the United States escalated, threatening jobs, businesses, and the country's sense of stability. In this moment of turmoil, Mark Carney became Canada's Prime Minister in March 2002. And during das 2020 during Tawan Palmer 5, stepping into the role at a time when strong, steady leadership was desperately needed. A seasoned economist and former central banker, Carney brought calm expertise to a nation under pressure. His reputation for navigating global financial storms gave many Canadians hope that he could steer the country through this unprecedented challenge. Unlike Trump's bombast, Carney was measured and resolute, framing the dispute as a fight for Canadian sovereignty. He spoke directly to Canadians, emphasizing unity and the importance of standing up for national interests. He refused to back down, preparing a robust response instead of yielding to US pressure. Behind closed doors, Carney and his team worked tirelessly, crafting strategies to protect Canadian industries and workers. The American tariffs and Trump's rhetoric galvanized Canadians, turning the trade war into the defining issue of the May election. Across the country, people rallied in support of a government willing to defend their livelihoods. Carney's firm stance rallied the nation, transforming a likely defeat into a decisive victory. His message of resilience and determination resonated with voters from coast to coast. In his victory speech, he promised to defend Canadian workers and industries with every tool available, vowing to put the interests of ordinary Canadians first, no matter the cost. With a strong mandate, Carney moved quickly from planning to action. He convened emergency meetings, coordinated with provincial leaders, and signaled to the world that Canada would not be intimidated. He was ready to engage in a tit-for-tat battle, even at economic cost, determined to show that Canada would not be bullied on the global stage. The stage was set for a direct confrontation between two determined leaders. each representing the hopes and anxieties of their nations as the world watched what would happen next. In a bold and decisive move, Canada struck back hard, announcing a sweeping $30 billion CAD, about $22 billion USD, in retaliatory tariffs on a wide range of US goods. This was not just a headline-grabbing gesture, it was a direct response to the US's aggressive trade actions, and it sent shockwaves through both countries' economies. This wasn't symbolic, it was a calculated move designed to inflict real pain on key American industries and political strongholds, especially those already struggling with economic uncertainty. Canada matched the US's 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum, hitting back at the very sectors the US had targeted. But they didn't stop there. Canada added another $8 billion CAD in new tariffs, including a punishing 25% hit on American-made cars, trucks, and auto parts, industries that are the backbone of many US communities. Cleverly, automakers with Canadian plants could still import duty-free, protecting thousands of Canadian jobs while punishing competitors south of the border. This strategic exemption helped shield Canada's own economy from the worst effects of the trade war. The targeted goods, bourbon, orange juice, tomatoes, and dozens more, were carefully chosen to pressure US politicians in swing states and districts, where even small economic shocks could sway public opinion and votes. The goal was clear: turn American businesses and voters against Trump's trade policies by making the costs visible in their daily lives and on their balance sheets. Canada made it clear, this was a fight for fairness. For every dollar of pain inflicted by US tariffs, there would be a dollar in return. The message was unmistakable. Canada would not back down. The dispute had escalated into a full-scale trade war, with both sides now feeling the impact. Supply chains were disrupted, prices rose, and uncertainty rippled through markets. Canada, though smaller in size and economy, showed the world it wouldn't be a passive victim. Instead, it stood firm, united, and ready to defend its interests. The counterpunch landed with force. Now, businesses and consumers on both sides of the border braced for the fallout, uncertain how long the standoff would last or who would blink first. The trade war has turned North American business into a battlefield. For giants like General Motors, tariffs mean billions in extra costs, lost profits, and potential job cuts. Small businesses are hit even harder, like Busy Baby, an American company now paying $230,000 to ship a single container. Many face existential threats, higher costs, layoffs, or closure. Canadian industries reliant on US markets like steel and lumber are suddenly uncompetitive, forced to cut production or rethink their future. The pain isn't limited to manufacturing, tourism and services are suffering too. Fewer Canadians are visiting the US, hurting border state retailers and hotels. The Federal Reserve notes a marked drop in Canadian tourism, compounding the damage. The economic casualties are mounting, proving there are no winners in a trade war. The fallout is widespread, and the damage is far from contained. Beyond boardrooms, the trade war hits home for ordinary families. Tariffs act as a hidden tax, raising prices on everything from cars to groceries. In Canada, a Buy Canadian movement is changing shopping habits. Shoppers skip US products in favor of homegrown alternatives. Americans, too, are feeling the pinch: higher prices on washing machines, beer, and lumber. The cost of living creeps up, straining household budgets already stretched by inflation. The conflict is eroding the easy cross-border camaraderie that once defined the relationship. Tensions are rising and personal and business ties are fraying. For millions, this is more than economics. It's the cost of a friendship unraveling. The economic fight is matched by a war of words. President Trump's blunt threats and accusations have cast Canada as an adversary, not an ally. Canadian leaders, led by Carney, have responded with defiant resolve, framing the conflict as a defense of sovereignty. The rhetoric has united Canadians but deepened the divide, making compromise harder. In the US, political cracks are showing as states hit by Canadian tariffs push back against Trump's strategy. Commerce Secretary Lutnick calls the deal very complex. A diplomatic understatement. The hostile language poisons negotiations, turning a policy dispute into a cultural feud. The stakes are now higher than ever, with both leaders locked into positions that are hard to abandon. All eyes turn to Washington, where Carney and Trump are set to meet in a high-stakes summit. This is a critical moment, a chance to step back from the brink or plunge deeper into conflict. Trump wants concessions. Carney backed by a strong mandate, demands an end to U.S. tariffs. Finding a face-saving compromise will require real diplomatic skill. If talks fail, more tariffs could tip both economies into recession and deepen the rift for years. The outcome will shape the future for workers, families, and businesses across North America. In a world where economic decisions ripple across borders, this conflict matters to everyone. The path chosen now will define U.S.-Canada relations for a generation.